brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today, and a host of the Dr. John Delony Show on the Ramsey Networks, which is going crazy good. Ratings are nuts. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. We're here to help you with your life, your money, whatever's going on. The phone number is 888-825-5225. We're going to start off this hour with James in Springfield, Illinois. Hi, James. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I've got a question about paying off student loan debt. So I've got a mortgage with a 6% interest rate, but I've applied for an income-driven save plan that, because of my family size and my income, has 0% interest. I'm wondering if I should pay off the mortgage first or keep that money going towards the student loan.
Student loans. As soon as possible. Fast. And that crap you signed up for is going to keep you in debt for 40 years. So it's not going to do any good at all. If you can get 0%, that's fine. But then I want you to attack this thing. How much student loan debt have you got?
$31,000.
What do you make? What's your household income?
I make $110K a year.
How fast are you going to pay off $31,000? I mean, attack it. How fast are you going to do it?
Well, so the thing is, I have a family of 7, so it makes it a bit difficult to set aside money to attack it. And
it's an excuse.
Right.
When are you going to pay it off? It's not a pet.
Right. Yep. My thing is, it seems like I'm leaving money on the table.
James,
you
still hadn't answered the question. How fast can you pay off $31,000 if you put everybody on beans and rice and beans? You stop going out to eat. You stop going on vacations. You sell so much stuff, one of those 7 kids thinks they're next. I mean, how fast are you going to pay this $30,000 off?
Yeah. I've got about...
James, it's an answer.
I could pay it off quick.
How fast? You're right. How fast? Give me an answer.
3 years.
3 years. Do you have any money saved at all?
Yes, $6,000.
Okay. All right. 3 years is ridiculous. I want you to do it in less than 2. I'm serious. You guys are not, you're saying, we've got a large family, they eat a lot. Yeah, they do. And yes, they have to have clothes, and yes, they have to have shoes, and yes, that's a real thing. I know all that. But, dude, you have never sat down and written all this out in great detail and decided to attack it. You were trying to figure out a way to keep it around like it's a family member. It's not a family member. It's crap. You need to get it out of your life. It's killing you guys. How long have you had this student loan debt?
About 5 years now.
Yeah, see, there's my point. And you've done nothing.
You sound beat up, man. What?
You're avoiding it.
Yeah, why's your head hung so low?
Well, so bills have been tight with all the kids, and I've just, my wife had triplets, which is why we have so many children, and bills have been tight because of that.
When did the triplets come?
6 months ago.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a legitimate thing, but here's the deal. As you know, I mean, yes, that's a wonderful blessing, and also, whoa!
Yeah.
And and so, but the good news is the older they get, the less they cost.
Right.
Okay, until they get to cars and colleges and stuff. But anyway, so, you've kind of got this, the shock to the system mathematically is just about over. And, you guys have got to sit down and do a detailed plan. You've been overwhelmed by this overwhelming number. I mean, you almost doubled your kids in one fell swoop, right? That's emotional. Right. It's hard parenting-wise. There's a lot of duties, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of chaos. And that's translated down into your money. And then you're just going, well, we got a bunch of kids. We can't do it. We got a bunch of kids. We can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We have people with large families stand on the debt-free stage every single month that do the Ramsey stuff, but they're doing a written budget with their spouse. They're both are saying, this is very important to get this out of my life. I'm not going to use a 0% interest rate as a justification for not dealing for this. You got to deal with it. You got to knock it out. Because if you don't, it's going to hover and hang around forever. No one's coming to fix this. You are the solution.
Even if I can get that mortgage down quicker and say,
Man, I tell you what.
Here's the deal, brother. It's
63 times, I tell you something.
Yeah, you got to get your head out of the math game. Because what's killing your household
you're
right now...
You're only in the math game because you gave up.
It's not 4 or 5 percentage points. What's killing you...
It's not about interest rate.
Yeah, it's about getting this stuff off.
It's about you haven't dealt with your crap.
Yeah.
And every time I bring it up, all you do is sidestep and try to do math like some 6th grader. Dude, go deal with the problem. Go deal with the problem. It is a lot more complicated than 6 versus 0%. It's a lot more complicated. Number one, you've got 5 years of denial in your behavior patterns. Number two, the house is going up in value. The student loan is going up in balance because the thing you signed up for is going backward all the time. You've got to lean into this and blow it up. You've got to change your view on this and quit trying to figure out a way to act like it's not there. It's there.
It's almost like he's trying to find a second job without, to help with all these kids, and he's figured out, maybe I figured out a loophole as a way to get some more. I'm trying to think of the psychology. Just get this thing out of your house, man. Just get it out of the house, get it out of the house, get it out of the house.
You've got to dump it. You got to dump it. It's that simple. You got to push it. And John, this is the psychology of this. I cannot. People will get lackadaisical and quit on their student loans because of the size, I guess, of the loan. Where they'll turn around and take a car and they'll get mad and pay it off, or they'll take a credit card and get mad and pay it off. But the student loan just seems to lay around like dadgum. It just is, it's okay. We're just sitting in the swamp.
Well, number one, the federal government dangles this, we'll take it away from you, so just keep putting it down the road. And all your friends tell you, well, you're stupid and you should do this, and here's a 0 interest here, and here's a 6% here.
Your broke friends giving you financial advice.
Well, it goes back to, I saw the great Dr. Peter Attia ranting the other day. It was fantastic. He said, you should not be able to post on a health and fitness Instagram account until you can do 100 push-ups. Until then, I don't care what you have to say. I don't care what your opinion is about a thing.
Right.
Because you're stepping over $100 bills to pick up pennies. That's what's happening here. I'm stepping over peace. I'm stepping over... I got 6 kids now. I can focus on them to try to pick up an interest rate gain, and it's just I want to hug the guy, man.
I can see the chaos as clear as day. It's all over him.
Yeah,
the whole thing, everything in his life's chaotic. Get a sense of order, a sense of discipline, a sense of direction. Follow a proven plan. Game on, game on, game on. Quit trying to calculate your way out of this. Pay the stupid thing off. This is the Ramsey Show. It doesn't take a degree in statistics to realize that this one stinks. 93% of undergraduate private student loans are co-signed. So when you're delinquent and drowning in private student loan debt, mom or dad or Uncle Joe is stuck in that financial stress along with you. But there is a way out. Why Refi? Why Refi offers a custom refinancing option with a fixed rate loan based on your ability to pay. And the average interest rate Why Refi offers is 3.9%, which can significantly reduce your monthly payment and decrease your total cost. Why Refi refinances your defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch. And I trust them. to help you get out of debt. So don't be another statistic in the student loan swamp. Contact YRefi at 844-2RAMSEY or go to yrefi.com/Ramsey. That's 844-2RAMSEY or the letter Y, then REFY.com/Ramsey. Dr. Sean Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Larry Burkett used to be on the air 1,000 years ago. He did a Christian radio show, Money Matters, it was called, about what the Bible says about money. And he's one of the guys I learned from. I certainly learned what the Bible says about money from Larry a lot. He passed away several years ago. We became friends before he passed away, but at first I was just a fanboy. And he used to say, debt is never the problem. Financial problems are never the problem. They're always the symptom. So you need to keep that in mind because that's how we're going to view it. Personal finance is 80% behavior. It's 20% head knowledge. So if you have a student loan debt that you've made no progress on for 5 years, the student loan debt is not the problem. The new triplets that just came were not here for the last 5 years. They're not the problem. The interest rate is not the issue. This is not an interest rate issue. This is a you problem. And John, when people get to the bottom of that, that's the beautiful thing about the work you do in counseling, with a PhD in counseling, and the work that the reason you joining this team as a Ramsey Personality is a perfect overlap to our approach to money, because the interest rate is irrelevant because you haven't dealt with you. That's the thing. When you deal with you, you're not only going to get financial peace, two words that don't go together like airline service, but you're also going to get progress and wealth. Until you deal with you, you're not going to get any of that.
Right. And it's hard to sell somebody on that when they're so convinced from a TikTok ad or a TikTok's swipe or whatever, where they got the information. And I think a lot of us sit in our house, man, and we just spin out with life's problems. I can't imagine having triplets just show up after having a couple of other kids. Whatever your problem happens to be, you lost your job, your marriage is falling apart, whatever it is. And it's so much easier. We have so much distraction in our world. We can just spin our wheels and jam that gas pedal into the bottom of the car, thinking we're going real fast, and we're going nowhere. We're just avoiding.
But money is such an interesting topic because it lets us, it lures us to our own death because it makes us think we can fix it by fixing the math. And the math is very seldom the problem. The math is the symptom. It's not the problem. The problem is our spending, our income, our lack of control, our lack of working together.
Our choices. I'm going to keep these for 5 years.
Our behaviors and our principles by which, but we somehow think we can unplug from all of this stuff that's called our life and set this money thing over here to the side and just fix it with just math. But the reason you can't is it doesn't unplug. It's sitting there right in the middle of your freaking life because your life is impacting it. It's impacting your life. You can't just set it over here in a test tube and go, it's a math thing, 6% versus 0. It's not a math thing.
And I want to speak to the person who's listening to this, or to the gajillions of people who are listening to this, who are 5 years from today away from triplets or a job loss or a mom calling and saying I have cancer or a husband saying I haven't been faithful or whatever the thing is, that choice starts now. Because 5 years ago, if they had been hell-bent on paying these things off, its life would still be chaotic, but I want people to listen to that man's voice. It just sounds cooked, right? It's heartbreaking. Yeah. And agreed. You can celebrate the chaos of 3 kids coming home or not be able to breathe because you can't, there's no room for 3 kids.
I remember when our oldest daughter Denise had the 3rd one, her husband Bill said, well, we just went from man-on-man to zone defense.
My buddy said, man, it was all cool till we went from man-to-man to zone, and they win.
Taylor is in Indianapolis. Hey, Taylor, what's up?
How are we doing today? Thank you for taking my call.
Sure, man. How can I help?
So I'm thinking about doing a job switch. Right now I drive a dump truck, and I'm in the union and everything, but I'm looking to be a pilot. But I have $5,000 in debt, and it's going to send me back another $85,000. But I plan on having the $5,000 that I have now and paying that off this season before I get laid off.
Yeah, you're asking me if you can go if I think you should go $85,000 in debt to be a pilot. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if you think it's a smart job.
No,
switch.
It's not.
Okay.
Under no circumstances would I do that. Now, should you go become a pilot? Yeah, probably. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. Are you married?
I am.
Okay. I would talk to the Air National Guard and see if they have any programs for training pilots while you serve your country, weekends, and 2 or 3 sets of boot camp a year. That wouldn't put you away from your family necessarily, or not for long periods of time. And let's see if they'll pay for it. They have lots of wonderful programs. I know that. I also would start talking to the local airport about how I can get my hours there after I would pay to get a certain number of hours and get my first set of. Are you licensed at all?
No, right now I drive a dump truck.
No, I know, I heard that. But have you gotten any pilot's hours in at all?
No.
How do you know you want to do that?
I worked at the airport about 5 years ago, and I wanted to do it about that time, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But I never pulled the trigger, and I ended up just going to get my CDLs, and I've been at this for about 5 years now.
Okay. All right. I'm with you on living your dream. I just don't want you to do it in such a way it becomes a nightmare. So let's figure out a way that we can walk into this a little at a time, start getting your hours in while you keep driving truck. And because you're making some good money on the truck, but we just don't want to be doing that 10 years from now. You want to be in the air, right?
Yes.
But I don't want to try to do it at super high speed because I don't want you going $85,000 in debt because you might not make $65,000 the first year. It's very possible. If you got your commercial hours in and you can actually fly a jet, and that may cost you more than $85,000 to get to that point where you can actually pick up a regional job doing some of these puddle jumpers, they don't pay anything, man.
Yeah.
Entry-level pilot pay sucks.
Yeah, from what I heard, it's about $55,000 a year. But then, I would be going with Lift Academy. They say I get on with Republic, and they pay $94 an hour starting off.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how many hours I would get though.
Yeah, maybe.
But hey, you're about to walk into the trap, brother, where you borrow a bunch of money and you've done some napkin envelope on the top carrier, paying a top dollar. And you've made that math work.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of maybes and maybe nots and probably nots in between you and that dollar amount, man.
So you're trying to jump from the dock into the boat, and the boat's not close enough to the dock. That's what I'm saying. So I want you to pull the boat closer to the dock. And how's that sound? It sounds like going over there, starting to get some of your hours, paying for your first level of licenses, maybe get a weekend job as an instructor once you got enough hours under your belt, and they'll pay you to put more hours down, and you can start to build your hours up. Because the biggest cost is not the actual certifications, it's the hours to get ready. And then if you want to take, because when you take a job at 55 or 60 versus what you're doing now, union to dump truck, you're taking a pay cut to move into this dream initially. And I don't care if you found one off at 94. That's not the industry. The industry is 55 or 60 right now for entry. And I want you to go do that because you can make your way up to 200,000 or 300,000 someday. But please don't go $85,000 in debt and rush this. Do it a little bit at a time, and or talk to the Air National Guard. And let's see if you can figure out a way to get some hours working for your country, and they'll pay for the whole stinking thing, possibly. I don't know. Let's see what they got out there. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, it's Rachel Cruz here to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And Step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. With no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. Find out more at chministries.org/budget.
Thanks for joining us, America. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. So, John, the Ramsey cash giveaway is here, $3,000. John sat down and saw $3,000 laying here. He thought I was giving him like a bonus.
Well, I was like, man, Dave,
you did something good.
Usually, you give me a high five. That I will take it.
It usually just shows up like in your account.
Is this how you're telling me that that's not for me?
This is not yours.
All right.
It's not even mine because it's actually earmarked. I'm going to be giving it to someone. We're going to be giving it to someone. So here's the deal. The Ramsey Cash giveaways here. You could win one of our $500 weekly prizes or the grand prize of $3,000. Hey, how would you spend $3,000 if you won it? I hope you'd work the baby steps with it, right? Entering the Ramsey Cash giveaway takes about 15 seconds. There's no purchase necessary. Go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. You do have to be 18 years old to win. And you got to put RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. So while you're there, though, check out our bestsellers. They're there at 20% off. Like Dr. John Delony's book, Building a Non-Anxious Life, is on sale for the first time ever. His Questions for Human cards, on sale. Baby Steps Millionaires, my latest #1 bestseller, is also on sale, 20% off, and shop the sale, RamseySolutions.com. Check out the store while you're there, but be sure you register for the $3,000.
That could be a fun game just to kind of work through. What do we think people would spend $3,000 on just to run here?
It would.
Like Ken would buy some incredible clothes. He's a sharp-dressed man.
Yeah.
James would buy a guitar. George would buy another cherry-flavored vape pen. Whatever millennials do these days.
George would buy something to charge his car up with.
He would. Yeah, he'd buy another AA battery charger.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, what's Rachel Cruz buy with that?
That can't even cover her latte bill.
It won't even get her attention.
That won't even. She wouldn't even stop to pick that up.
Yeah, that's it. So there you go. I'm thinking ammo. But,
of course you are. Of course you are.
I don't have a problem with guns.
Can I get another framed photo of my
I don't have a
Raptor?
gun problem. I have a problem with guns. All right, here we go. Nicole's in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm a big fan.
Well, we're honored. How can we help you?
So I guess my question today is just how do I stay motivated to continuing on to baby step 2 with paying off debt while I have a child with a severe medical condition? And then what sort of emergency fund goes in with that? I'm just kind of at a loss.
So what's up with your baby? What's the deal?
So my daughter will be 6 next week. She has a severe medical condition. She has a heart condition. She's had 4 open heart surgeries before she was 1 year old.
Wow.
And we were basically living in the hospital here in Iowa that entire time. She's a fighter, though. has been doing great. However, she will need more surgeries in the future, and she actually is looking at another surgery here this summer sometime. We just don't really know quite yet. And my husband and I have previously gone through Financial Peace University prior to being married, again, after we had our daughter, and we do really good for a little bit, and then we just lose that intensity. And usually it's related to something happening with her, just where we're like, oh, crap, we're back in the hospital.
You're saying
I'm
that
worried.
like you did something wrong. You didn't. You did everything exactly right. When your daughter is in the hospital having open heart surgery for the 5th or 6th time and she's 6 years old, you should not be intense about money. You should be intense about loving her.
Okay.
Which is what you did.
Yeah, you're a good mom, Nicole.
You did everything right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How many bags of Fritos have you had for dinner out of a vending machine in a hospital, right?
You're right. There's been a lot of days where that.
You survived.
So maybe your workout plan is not on track with your daughter getting surgery. Oh, well.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, well.
You're surviving.
So here's the thing. Number one, you're dealing with a thing that's gone on over 7 years. Is that what I heard?
She'll be 6 this year, so
Okay,
6
years.
and a half-ish.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's a long period of time. And the entire 6 years was not in crisis, just at different moments. But when the crisis hit, it throws everything off because everything's full stop to deal with the situation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it drains all of your emotions, it drains all of your attention, it drains all of your bank account, and it should. She's worth it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're doing the right stuff, okay? Now, the trick is, number one, I want to not only give you permission, but also, more importantly, to tell you your instincts were correct. Continue the path you've been on, which is when we are dealing with a crisis, we're full stop. We push stop on the total money makeover. We're in financial survival mode because we're going to pour everything we have into this crisis until the crisis subsides. So let's walk through a possible example. All right, if my daughter, granddaughter, either one was going into surgery for open heart this summer, I would not be worrying about making progress right this second on my financial goals. I would be worrying, praying, focusing on that surgery, walking up to it and walking out of it. Now, a year from now, she's home, healing, doing well. Well, I need to push play again and get back on my game and start a year later, start focusing on that. But you've done the right thing. It sounds to me like. John, what do you?
Yeah, I was just writing down, Nicole. Are you finding, you and your husband, y'all finding you're heading back into that feeling you had 5 years ago where you just feel powerless?
Yes, for sure. I struggle with some anxiety anyways, and it's just that PTSD moment. We just had our son 4 months ago too, and had some medical stuff with him.
Yeah, because why not, right?
It just never stops.
All right, here's what I want you and your husband to do. I want you to hang on the line. I'm going to send you Building an Unanxious Life as my gift. I want you all to use these 6 choices as your roadmap, but I want you and your husband to take a morning, ask someone from your church to come by, ask a friend to come by, a coworker to come by, and just watch the kids for a couple hours, which you probably haven't done in a long, long time. And I know it sounds crazy, but I want you to do that, and I want y'all just to sit with each other for a second. And I want y'all to write down on a piece of paper, all right, we're heading into surgery this summer. What are we going to need? And I want you to challenge the people around you, not for real challenge, but give them an opportunity to love you. Say, I'm going to need this many meals because I'm tired of eating out of a vending machine. I'm going to need, if you can help with a gas card, I want you guys to practice some of these things that really chip away at your health and at your your money, like these little nickel and dime things. You got the big $1 million hospital bill, fine. But you just get run over with, we got to go grab some dinner. Hey, let's go grab some of this. Hey, we need to grab some of this. I want you and your husband to be honest about writing that stuff down. You see this one coming this time. You didn't see it coming when she was born. You see this one coming. And let's write some of this stuff down, and let's give our friends who love us an opportunity to show up. Maybe they won't, but maybe they will, right?
And then
we
give yourself
definitely learned that
permission.
our first time around with our daughter. So, we have family, we have friends who do love on us really well. It's always hard to ask for help.
Yep. And those days are over.
But you need help.
You need help.
And you need to say out loud, we're temporarily pushing the pause button on baby step 2 and intensity. We're going to use all of those calories, all of that energy to love each other and to deal with the emotions associated with this life or death situation. I want to face all that. I want that given. I want to give everything I am to that. And then when that has passed, and it will pass, it ebbs and flows, right?
Yes.
When it has passed, then you push play again and you go, okay, now we can focus on that thing. Let's get baby step 2 jacked up. Let's get going again. And and feel zero guilt about the time we took off from the plan, the money plan, to go work on more important things, which is your daughter and each other and your marriage and the whole situation. So good stuff. You're a great lady. Thank you for calling.
Mom, Nicole.
This is the Ramsey Show. Your home is probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make. And with the real estate market like it is now, you'll need a mortgage company you can trust. That's Churchill Mortgage. You guys, buying a home is not a button push. It's a process. It takes building a relationship with an expert who will dig into the details and give you peace of mind without busting your budget. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country. And they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Go to churchillmortgage.com to get started. Thanks for hanging out with us, America. We're so glad you're here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Building a Non-Anxious Life is his latest #1 New York Times, our #1 bestseller, national bestseller. We're glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, it's on sale with a big Ramsey sale.
It is. First time we've ever done that.
RamseySolutions.com. Go pick it up. Plush store.
20% off on all these bestsellers. So be sure and check them out. And a deal on the Human Conversations cards, too.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty good. So, hey, if you guys want to help us out further, we would appreciate that. Click share and share this show with someone, or cut the link out and send it to somebody, however you do it. And click follow and subscribe. Any of that helps the algorithms big time here. We appreciate you guys, whether you're YouTubing or whether you're listening on talk radio or one of the many different other forms that carry the show, from satellite radio to of course, all the podcast platforms with Apple and Google Play and Spotify, everybody out there. Thank you guys for all the different ways you're getting a hold of this. But tell people about us. We appreciate that. It helps a bunch. Scott is up next in Seattle. Hi, Scott. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Good to hear. I'm calling to get some advice on making a first home purchase. My fiance and I are getting married later this year.
Yay.
And yeah, thank you. And we'd like to get into a house, ideally within the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. We have no debt, and we think we could save up about 50% of the down payment for the house.
Wow.
In that time frame.
Good for you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. That being said, we've heard some advice that putting that amount of cash towards a house doesn't make like 100% sense. And sometimes in some situations, it can better be put towards investments if the interest rate for the mortgage is pretty good.
That would be advice from broke people who don't know what the flip they're talking about.
Well, that makes it pretty clear, then.
I would 100% do this with my family in my home.
If I were you, I would do exactly what you're talking about doing. And let me back that mouth up, okay? We did the largest study of millionaires, not broke people with an opinion, millionaires, people that have a $1 million or greater net worth that's ever been done in North America. We studied 10,167 of them. The number of them that said, out of 10,000 millionaires, the number of them that said we became a millionaire because we invested our cash instead of putting it down on the house was precisely 0. No one said that. Rich people simply do not do what you're talking about. Broke people talk about it and say that rich people do it, but they simply do not do it. What we found instead, Scott, was that the typical person, how old are you?
30.
30. And it sounds like you guys are making $250, are you? What are you making between the two of you?
Around 150 total pre-tax.
But that's your combined income after you're married?
Correct.
Okay, wow, well, you're aggressive savers then. Very good. Okay, either way, so here's what we found. By the time you're 42, if you fit the profile, the typical template that we found, the case studies of these average millionaires, the typical millionaire that we went through, they had two things primarily that caused them to hit their first $1 to $5 million of net worth, and that was that they got a paid-off house, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 paid-off house. By the time you're there, it'll be more than that. And they've invested simultaneously into their 401ks and Roth IRAs and built those up. And so they're sitting with $500,000 or $600,000 in each. And so they've got $1.2 million, $1.5 million, $1.8 million net worth, something like that. And that's the two biggest things that we saw that people did, financial products, so to speak, financial pathways that cause people to actually hit that level of wealth. A paid-off house and a loaded-up retirement. It was that simple. There wasn't a bunch of smoke and mirrors. There wasn't a bunch of, I'm going to borrow on my mortgage because I can make more in the market. And I'm going to put the money in the market, and that arbitrage, some TikTok guy learned a new word the other day apparently, it's an old word. But anyway, that spread I'm making is going to make me rich. And so, Scott, that's, it's social media bullcrap is what it is. So the reality is that wealthy people simply pay off their house. So I am so impressed that you can put 50% down in 2 years. What that also tells me is in 2 to 3 more years, you're going to completely paid off.
Pay it off, man.
And you're going to be 35 years old with a paid off freaking house in Seattle, and the stupid thing's going up like a rocket ship, and you're going to be sitting on $1 million house that's paid for in just a handful of years.
Dave, I'm convinced that the age of the influencer is coming to an end because I think people have been doing this nonsense for several years. And like the caller we had at the beginning of this hour, you still got your student loans after 5 years. You still got this. You still got that. And this people who just learn a new fancy word and try to sell it and tell everybody to go do this thing. It just doesn't work. After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah. The influencer is the
not wise.
It's the stepchild of reality TV.
Right.
Okay, so reality TV is you became famous for what? Being famous.
Right.
You did nothing.
You were on TV.
You just were on TV being absurd, and the absurdity was somewhat entertaining, and you were pretty or you were something, right? But you're basically an empty suit. You got nothing to say. You are nothing. But we're all watching you anyway, like we're a moth drawn to a flame, And
then they start giving advice.
And then the next step is we go from that to people who are empty suits, who have never done anything, are now influencers.
Right.
And they have absolutely zero earned the right to have that influence. Not at all.
Teaching a generation of people.
Not at all.
Things that are going to ripple through their family tree for a long time.
But it's the sick child of reality TV. Is the influencer. And so you're exactly right. We're seeing the data. The data scientists are coming out. I mean, we study this stuff because of social media and because of the platforms that we're all involved in. And We've got about 4 different sources coming at us right now that are very credible. John's been nerding out on this stuff, but we're looking at it as a company right now because Ramsey's in the broadcast business. We're in the content business, the business of influencing you, but we actually are not empty suits. We actually have the knowledge, the degrees, the experience, the things to tell you this. It's not, and the back it up with the research. So Scott's not any of that. He just caught the back end of that. But Scott,
Scott, you're doing great.
Scott, you're doing great.
50% down, man. Get that sucker paid off.
Yeah, I mean, you get married and you can save that kind of money in the first 2 years, and you go put a big old chunk on the down payment. You're going to be glad you did. And don't take financial advice from broke people. That's what we're saying.
And don't take life-altering advice from somebody that had a single experience.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to be a life coach, you should have first had a life.
Correct. Right. Well, and here's the thing, though. Like, I love folks. They go through, somebody cheats on somebody, and they go through 3 years of hard therapy. They rebuild their marriage, and it's amazing. And they reach out and they say, hey, we want to write a book on marriage, and we want to become marriage speakers. And what I always have to break their heart and say, hey, you had an experience in your house. You did. That does not make you the person, right? You have all the letters. You know what you're talking about. And you have a personal experience. And I think the cornerstone to wise counsel is you've walked with millions of people. And so you have the academic stuff. You've got a whole bunch of different stories. And you know what it's like to have to go tell your wife we lost everything. All 3 of those make you a credible person to listen to. Not just you went to school, because we got plenty of that nonsense. And not just because you got a bunch of people that show up at your house. It's all of it together, man. And you got to be careful about who you take counsel from, especially when it comes to your health, especially when it comes to nutrition, especially when it comes to your money.
Yeah, the Bible does not say in the multitude of counsel there's safety. It says in the multitude of wise.
That's right.
Counsel.
That's right.
Safety. And that's what we're saying. We're actually seeing the data that the power of the influencer is starting to wane. And someone just is now someone who can garner some likes, garner some clicks, is
telling you what to do with your money.
I think Gen Z's the one killing it because Gen Z's sick of it. They're sick of things that are not authentic.
They're watching their parents and it didn't work. They're watching their older brothers and sisters.
It's not authentic. And Gen Z can smell a rat a mile away. And that's one of the reasons we love Gen Z around here. This is the Ramsey Show. Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Building a Non-Anxious Life, and host of the Dr. John Delony Show. He's my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Tammy is in Atlanta to start this hour off. Hi, Tammy. How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you guys today?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
Hi. My question is how can I save for my retirement when I'm basically living paycheck to paycheck?
Okay. Why are you living paycheck to paycheck?
Well, I am 51 years old. I work blue-collar electrician, and I am married. But with my debt, I have a debt unofficially at $55,000, officially $60,000. And I have 3 grandbabies, and I'm just trying to.
How do you have officially or unofficially? I don't know. What's that mean?
Unofficially, I have right at $55,000 because I just purchased a new vehicle in November. Officially, it's because I owe my husband about $6,000.
What?
How do you owe your husband? Your ex-husband or your
we
husband?
No, sir. My husband. We've been married 17 years, been together 20. Reader's Digest version is the way I was raised in past relationships. I do not depend on anyone financially.
How's that working for you?
That obviously
It's
sucks.
stressful.
Yeah, it's
horrible.
stressful. It's a terrible way to live.
It's a horrible plan.
Absolutely, I agree.
Okay.
I just can't get myself to and my husband doesn't complain. He doesn't try to push me. You know, he always say, "Don't worry about it." But I kind of used him.
He's pretty tolerant.
Or terrified of you.
He is.
He must be scared of you.
Hey, Tammy, we
I am
can.
older,
Hey, Tammy,
sir.
we can give you all the math and all the professional guidance and all that. But you're gonna have to have a heart change, or this thing's just gonna crash. And you see it happening right in front of your eyes. You can't live like this.
I do, and that's the reason why I'm struggling with trying to put all I can into my 401k, but then again trying to step out of my comfort
You
zone
kinda
to be able
missed
to
the
let
point.
my
You're missing my
husband
whole
help
point.
me more.
You missed the point.
Did you go buy a $50,000 car?
No, sir. I only paid $49 for it.
Well played, Tammy. Well played. Tammy, why? Why? Why would you buy a $49,000 depreciating asset and call us and ask us
Why you're living
why
paycheck
you're
to
living paycheck to paycheck?
I can tell you why you're living paycheck to paycheck. The stupidity is sitting on your driveway. It's got
amazing.
4 tires.
And that, by the way, high five. That was a fantastic answer. That was remarkable.
Great answer. So here's what I'll tell you, okay? The data that we know from 30 years of helping folks with their money is that almost no one succeeds relationally in their marriage and succeeds financially towards wealth building that does not combine their lives with their husband. So I'm going to strongly beg you to consider dealing with the emotions of the past betrayals, dealing with the times that people stepped on you that caused you to take this stance and say, I can trust this man that I'm married to. He's my guy. He's my husband. He's safe. And we're going to sit down together and combine our income and combine our debts and combine our assets, and we're going to be what the preacher said, and now you are one, because you're going to struggle financially, and it hurts your relationship too. You're going to act like it doesn't, and you're going to try to tell me it didn't, but you're wrong. It does.
No, you're correct. You're correct.
Yeah. And then that's going to also then line you up, and you're going to have to go, oh, I made a mistake last November. I put our family $50,000 in debt that we couldn't afford, and I'm going to have to sell the car and get rid of the problem that I caused, because it's a problem. And then we're going to sit down together and we're going to lay out a budget, and we're going to start dreaming about how we're going to 40 years from now be sitting on the front porch multimillionaires together. That's what I want for you. That's a different thing than you called about, though.
Yes, it is.
Because what does he make?
And depending on the year, about 120,
What do you
140
make?
a year. Depending on the year, about 40 to 50.
Okay. So you got $200,000 almost household income, give or take. And
Yes, and we have no mortgage.
That puts you.
wow.
That puts
you
you
got
up
no
in the,
mortgage, and you got a car you can't afford. He probably has a pile of money.
He does.
Okay.
He's
So-
very good with his money.
Yeah, so our money. So then the two of you need to start talking. Do we really want to keep this car? If we do, we need to write a check and pay it off. Or I need to say I need to sell it because I shouldn't have bought it. One of the two. But you trying to live like a roommate on $40,000 a year and then calling me up while he's making $140 and going, I don't know how I can prosper. Well, the way you can prosper is the two of you combine your lives properly, and it will cause you to prosper. But that's you admitting that you don't have all the answers and all the strength and all the crap by yourself. And by the way, I'm a much better person when I'm combined with Sharon. And by the way, she's a much better person when she's combined with me.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, everyone knows
Everyone
that.
is.
Everyone knows that. Now, we're better because, you bring different strengths and weaknesses in, and when you combine them, you get this beautiful, beautiful orchestra that's a synergy. And Larry Burkett used to say, if two people just alike get married, one of you is unnecessary. So that these opposites attract, and you plug into that. And so, Tammy, my wife Sharon has not worked outside the home in 40 years. She's not earned any income, with the exception of selling some clothes at the consignment sale clothes place. But other than that, she's not earned any income. But guess what? She has a fabulous income because we have a fabulous income. And it's our income. It's not Dave's income and Sharon's income. It's our income. And she has a great life, and I have a great life. And part of the reasons I have a great life is because of her. And so I have, I'm not going to allow her. Not allow, that's not the right word. I wouldn't want for her, and she wouldn't want for me, to be living standalone, siloed lives inside the same house.
I wonder what it would be like if she asked her husband, would you forgive that $5,000 debt? I bet he would say, I already have. Right? I already have. I bet
she's the one carrying it.
I bet she's carrying the debt. I'll pay you back. I'm paying you back.
Because she's the one.
I bet he could care less.
He's standing over there. He's going to be so happy.
Yep.
Tammy, when you do this, he's gonna really love Dave Ramsey and John Delony because we're the guys who finally talk to him.
He gets his wife back.
He's got his wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please consider that. And by the way, if you combine everything and it goes horribly, you can separate it again later.
But hey, you people...
It's not going to go horribly. It works.
Folks listening who are in the top 5 to 10% of earners on planet Earth, making $200,000 a year, living paycheck to paycheck. It's probably not the money's. That's the issue.
Yeah. Amen.
It's the mirror.
This is the Ramsey Show. Hey guys, Ramsey Solutions started small and grew fast. Because of that rapid growth, there were times when our systems slowed us down. That's why we switched to Netsuite. It works for us and it'll help your business too. Whether you're starting on a card table like I did, or you're well on your way to becoming a multi-million-dollar company, Netsuite can scale with you and help you communicate and plan better. Because you know your day-to-day up and down and sideways, but accounting, analytics, and supply chain are on another level. So maybe you're just not tech savvy. That can be okay. NetSuite will help at your speed and whatever your situation. More than 37,000 companies use NetSuite to know their numbers and their business better. So check out NetSuite today and find out how they can help you become the business you want to be 5 or 30 years from now. And right now, you can download NetSuite's free KPI checklist designed to give you consistently excellent performance at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Well, it's back and it's almost sold out. The Live Like No One Else cruise. Yep, the Ramsey personalities. We've got the entire ship on a Holland America cruise line, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. 7 days at sea, March 22nd through the 29th of 2025, about a year from now. And if you're on baby step 4 and above, we invite you to join us. Now, if you're on baby step 2, you should not be spending money on something like this. You ought to be getting your debt paid off. You can come on another one of these when we do it again later. We're going to Turks and Caicos. We're going to St. Thomas, San Juan, the Bahamas. The VIP upgrades are already sold out. Most of the suites are sold out. In fact, many of the cabin types are completely sold out. So if you're trying to get your pick of a cabin, you need to go ahead, like an Ocean View. You need to get your deposit in like now, because we're going to completely sell this thing out. And then what'll happen is if somebody drops out, you can upgrade your cabin, that kind of stuff as you go along. But get your foot in the door because it's about to be gone. Stephen Curtis Chapman with Grammy Award winner, 67 or 69 Dove Awards, whatever. Our friend is going to be with us, world-class artist. Maneet Chauhan from the Food Channel in fabulous chef, world-class chef, is going to be doing some cooking lessons with us and hanging out with us. Dina Carter from Strawberry Wine, one of our great Nashville names, is going to be with us as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we'll all, Dr. John, Rachel, Cruz, George Camel, everybody, Ken Coleman, Jade Washaw, me, we're all going to be there. We're all going to be, all of us, for 7 days doing events all through the cruise. We'll be hanging out with you. We're going to be doing stuff. We got all kinds of different things planned. And if you want to book your cabin, go to RamseySolutions.com/cruise. This is not a one of these cheap cruises. This is not like Walmart on the Seas. Okay, this is like Holland America's class thing. This is good stuff.
Walmart on the Seas.
Well, I mean, they do. There's some of those things are seriously nasty, and the humans on them sometimes are nasty. But this is all Ramsey. It's 100%. There won't be anyone else on the ship except our folk. So you're going to be, that's right, the Live Like No One Else cruise. Again, it's in March 22 through 29, 2025, next March, but the tickets are almost gone. RamseySolutions.com/cruise. Kyle is with us. Kyle is in Des Moines, Iowa. Hi, Kyle. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Yeah, so I'm upside down on a vehicle. I know I need to sell it. I'm just kind of wondering what steps I should take.
Okay. What do you owe on it?
So I owe just a little over 26.
Okay. And what is it worth?
So Kelly Blue Book, selling it private, it's worth 12.
Okay, so you had another one that was
How
upside
many old
down.
cars did you roll into this one?
You must have rolled some negative into this one, right?
No, actually, it just tons of miles put on it. Me and my partner, we had a baby, and then the vehicle turned into more than what we were expecting it to be. And
okay,
yeah,
so how many miles does it have on it?
112.
Okay, what is it? What kind of
Kia Sorento.
Okay, wow.
That sucker fell off a cliff, man.
Yeah. I'm disappointed in the decision to buy it.
Well, and the miles just destroyed the decision. So, yeah, selling it is not really going to help you.
Yeah. See, that's. I called in like 2 weeks ago, and that was the recommendation that I got, was to sell it. So I went home and I was like, "Yeah, we're going to sell this thing."
No.
Then I Kelly Blue booked it, and I was like,
I think you're just going to have to pay it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you make? What's your household income?
About $70K. And the only debt that I have just shy of $12K in a personal loan, and then
$26,000 on a car.
I have. What's that?
And then $26,000 on a car.
Yep.
And you have a baby that you're responsible for, but you're not married.
Correct.
Okay.
I actually have 4 kids total, but
At the same place with the same lady?
we have one child together. She had one in a previous relationship, and then I have 2 children from a previous relationship.
That are with their mom primarily?
We split 1 week with me, 1 week with with her.
Okay.
So we're like, we kind of need third row for 1 week, but then we don't for the other.
Yeah.
No, you do.
I think we got bigger problems than third row.
Yeah, you get a lot of chaos in your life, brother.
Yeah. The
What do you do for a living?
Fabricator, welder.
Okay. You might be entering a season. How much of that 70 is going to child support?
0, knock on wood.
What do you mean?
We just shared custody. I take care of them when they're with me. She takes care of them when they're with her.
Is that certified by a court, or do y'all just high five each other? Okay.
No, that's all court ordered.
You may have to enter into a season where you make the arrangements with the women in your life that you're going to be having to work 2 or 3 jobs because you got a mess to clean up, man.
Yeah.
You got so much chaos in your life, dude. And
you need if you had $36,000, you'd have no debt and an old car. and you'd be okay.
Right.
So you're $36,000 away from a huge relief point. So how fast can we come up with $36,000 working overtime 1 year?
Yeah, that's what. Is that a question you're asking?
No,
me?
that's
No,
a statement.
that's what we're telling you.
That's a statement.
Yeah.
I think because the good news is you're a welder, and man, you can get work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know you can get work. They're desperate for your work.
I want you to be so tired in October of this year that you don't know what day it is because you've been working so hard. Okay.
Yeah, but then you're gonna be free for the rest of your life because then you never enter into this again. We never buy a car on payments, so we never end up in this again. If we run the value down, it'll at least be on something that's paid for.
And I want you to marry Mama, and let's wrap this thing up right, and let's start to get some peace in our house. You got too much chaos, too much coming and going, too much over here, fingers crossed over here, hope this works out over here. You got to start like putting some of these variables in concrete, brother, so you can have some peace in your life.
Yeah.
Let's work on stability. Let's work on our marriage, work on our relationship.
It'll be good for the kids.
It's good for everybody, man.
Yeah. But I for a short period of time, I'd turn up the heat on the income. And you guys, sit down with your girlfriend. Now she's going to be your wife, according to John. And so you get those two things working, and then you say, all right, we're going to be on a written budget. We're going to be on beans and rice. We're going to knock this out as fast as we possibly can. Because really, if you sell the car, you've got almost as much debt left. It doesn't get rid of the debt. If you owe 22 on it, if it was worth 22 and you owe 26, then I would sell it. Because then you only got to clean up 4, but you still got 14 left.
Plus, you need to get $10,000 to buy another car.
Yeah, and you're screwed up. So yeah, you might as well drive the stupid thing, and let's just beat the snot out of this debt, the $12,000 and the $26,000, which is $38,000, and you're going to go get your life back, is what we're saying. But this is the result of the different all the personal chaos that while you were in between everything here, you jumped in, and as you said it, made a bad decision on this car. And that's what took you there. So that's a good way to talk it through. Hey, man, thanks for the call. If we can help you further, you call us anytime. It's what we do. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. So, the upside down on a car, if you're $4,000 upside down and you owe 26, the way you handle that, folks, is you would borrow that from your local credit union, or you talk to the company that has the car loan, see if they'll let you sell the car for what it's worth, sign a note for the difference, or, again, like we just said, you work like crazy and you come up with the hole that you're in, the amount that you're upside down in. That's your 3 things you can do to get out. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to get up to 45% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of Building a Non-Anxious Life, is my co-host today. Jamie is in Tampa, Florida. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Good. I am calling because I'm getting sued by Capital One after being out of work from a real heart attack. So just trying to figure out where I go from here and what the next step is. I've been following the Ramsey plan since January. It's kind of being all in. So just kind of wondering what I do from here, because that wasn't the plan. It was in collections, and now...
Okay, can you speak directly into your phone? You're kind of muffled.
Sorry about that. Is this better?
That's a little better, yeah, thanks. Okay, how old are you?
You had a heart attack?
Yeah, so I was 37. I'm now 39. I had a spontaneous coronary artery dissection. They don't know why it happened, how to prevent another one. It just happened.
2 years ago?
Yep.
Okay. So what has been your work history since the heart attack?
So when I had the heart attack, I was part-time and in school with 43 days left of becoming a respiratory therapist. So I was out of work for 2 months and then returned and got COVID and then was out for another 14 days. So during my heart attack, I had no income coming in whatsoever. And then
2 years ago.
So it took me about 7 months before I could get back financially stable enough to even take my test, because I have to take 2 and they're expensive. And then I started working as an RT March of last year, and finally got to the point of not robbing Peter to pay Paul and going to Scott every week to pay the bills as of probably August of last year.
You single?
So in the process of getting divorced from a very toxic person.
Wow. You've had a run.
So I haven't filed yet, but it's just been not good. It's not
so
good.
What are you making now?
So I would say averaging probably about $6K a month with overtime and on-call pay.
Mm-hmm. $6,000 a month. And what do you owe Capital One?
So there's 2 cards. One's $9,060 and one's $91.48.
Okay, $18,000.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Wow, I'm sorry for everything you've been through.
Thank you.
Let's be very clear, though, that Capital One is not suing you because you had a heart attack and weren't able to work for 2 months. They're suing you because the 2 years following the heart attack, you've not been able to keep enough work to feed yourself and pay the payments or pay something towards it.
Yeah,
so you paid them nothing, and you paid them nothing for, what, 3-4 years now?
So August of 2022 was my last payment. So it got to the point where I just was like, you know what, I need to keep my 4 walls and my 3 kids fed, and not worry about Capital One. Yeah.
And your husband was contributing nothing.
So he doesn't have a high-paying job. He makes about $16 an hour at the time. So, I mean, he was helping as much as he could, but it wasn't enough to sustain what we needed as, a 5-person family.
Okay. Have they given you a court date?
Yeah, so May 22nd is the date of the deposition.
May 22nd is the court date?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I assume you don't have any money.
So right now I have my $1,000 emergency fund. I've stopped paying anything extra because I was going hard. I was paying about $2,000 off in debt since January every single month. So my paycheck coming up on Friday will be about $3,400. I've got $2,500 in the bank, and then another $1,000.
Okay.
But that doesn't include bills that are coming
sometimes if you know what's going to happen, it's not as scary as the unknown. So I'll walk you through what's going to happen. Okay. Regardless of what we do right now, short of filing bankruptcy, which you're not bankrupt, so you wouldn't do that, you're going to lose the lawsuit on the 22nd of May, because the lawsuit is not about anything except, did you pay a bill you promised to pay? And the answer is no, you did not, regardless of the reason. Okay?
Right.
Now, there is no heart attack clause in these things. So it's just, did you pay it? The answer is no, judgment. Okay? So they're going to win a judgment against you for $18,000 plus attorney's fees on the 22nd in just a couple of weeks. Whoopee.
So that's already happened. That was last month that they sent me paperwork saying that there was judgment against me. The one on the 22nd now is a deposition where they want all of my financial information, last 3 years of tax returns, my income for the last year, all my bank statements, all of that.
Yeah, that's an execution on the judgment then. Okay.
Pretty much. I feel like it's an execution on me.
Okay. The good news is that now you have a good income flowing for the first time in this story. And it's just started happening recently, and you, like you said, you got where you're not paying Peter to pay Paul. So the only option, you've got two options technically that I can think of, okay, off the top of my head right here. One is that you begin to negotiate a payment plan with them. Actually, there's three options, okay? One is you begin to negotiate a payment plan with them. Is there anywhere you could get $5,000?
No, I already tried to get a loan from Mid-Florida Credit Union. They denied me. My credit's just so bad at this point.
I'm sure.
No one, I mean,
you're
other than AMSCOP, $500. That's about more than that.
Yeah.
I don't think that I can get $5,000.
Do you have anything you could sell?
I mean, other than my car that I've got $1,200 left on it, but it's got a check engine light and about ready to die, and looking forward to being able to fix that.
Yeah. So what so one thing you could do is you could try to settle it for a lump sum. That would actually be the cleanest, and they probably will take about $5,000 to settle this and go away. But that's not an option because we just talked through that. Okay. So that's one option. That one's on the side. That would be cool though. That'd be very cool. The second one is to work out a payment plan with them, and they're very difficult on that. The third one is bankruptcy. And bankruptcy stops everything dead in its tracks. And you can file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which makes them accept a payment plan. They won't have a choice. The bankruptcy court tells them what it is, and they get pennies on the dollar. They don't even get 100 cents on the dollar. So if you threaten them with a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, they're better off to take a payment plan with you than for you to force one through a Chapter 13 bankruptcy on them. And so I would like to see you cut a payment plan with them. It's better for you and it's better for them.
Okay.
But there's no point in you going through, letting them go through your underwear drawer on the 22nd, because all they're doing is a fishing expedition trying to find money and line up whether they can garnish your wages in Florida. I don't know how that stands. I don't know the law there, but they're trying to find something they can get their hands around your throat. That's all this is. This is not a criminal thing. It's a deposition searching for income and assets. And it's there to hassle you and scare you, which it's already doing, those two things.
Yeah, I feel like I can't even go to the grocery store and buy groceries at this point. I'm so scared.
Yeah. Well, you go buy anything you need to buy to take care of your family. Don't worry about these characters, because they may end up getting nothing if you end up being forced by them into a BK. But truthfully, the best thing that could have happened is if you had been working on this 6 months ago or even a year ago, working on something to get them cleared out before it got this far. By the time it gets this far, your options and any negotiating power you've got is very weak, because all you can do is threaten bankruptcy, which is, I threaten to shoot myself in the foot, right? And so, but that's what you can do there. I'll tell you what, let's do this. I'm gonna put you on hold. I'm gonna hook you up with one of our Ramsey coaches, and maybe they can help you with the negotiation with these guys. Hopefully they can keep you out of bankruptcy by getting you on a payment plan. That's what I want to do. But before they come and start taking your income and you're not able to feed your kids, they're going to force you into a bankruptcy before they do that. So hopefully they won't take it that far, but these characters, I don't know. But you're not dealing with it for 2 years is how this came up and bit you. It wasn't the heart attack 2 years ago. It was you're not dealing with it after that. I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? Like, and it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I going to eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief. Like it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance. And we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. The cost of stinking pizza.
There really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Today's question of the day comes from Samantha in California.
All right. Samantha asks, I live with my boyfriend and we have 2 children together. I'm 36 and I've been with him since I was 19 and he was 35. I have a degree but never worked, never made any money, and have no savings. I own nothing. Okay. I have a debit card to his account. He makes over $1 million a year and refuses to get married. What should I do? Make him pay me a monthly salary that I pay taxes on? Go get a job, which he would hate? I have only recently understood the situation I am in, as I guess I was too busy caring for the kids to see what a mess this is. Any advice would be appreciated. Whew.
I don't do well.
No, I can feel it on you.
With men that don't take care of their families. I don't do well with jerks like this. Nope. So, all right, let's be kind. There's 2 children involved.
I'll just say this. If this was my sister, this is one of my close friends, I would sit with an attorney and find out what the common law rules are in the state of California, and I would get as far away from this toxic trash as possible, and some of this bajillionaire's money will become yours because you've raised his kids and taken care of his home.
Yeah, there's child support at a minimum.
Yeah.
There's probably palimony. Let's see.
You can't get him to marry you.
You've been there 17 years, is that right?
Get him to pay you a monthly salary. Yeah. That's not going to work.
No. What?
By the way, get a job, which he would hate. At this point, I don't care what he thinks.
Yeah.
He's not a person of character. I don't care. He didn't get a vote.
17 years. He makes $1 million a year. You've been there 17 years. So here's the likelihood. The likelihood is, John, that she's not going to take our advice.
No, not at all.
Because you've known for a long time, even though you act like you didn't, what you should be doing. And you've known for a long time this whole thing was jacked up. And you've done nothing about it. And so I doubt you're going to do anything about it now. And that's really sad. Because what that tells me is that at a minimum you've been emotionally abused. At a minimum. Because you're now functioning in domestic violence symptoms. because you're not dealing with the obvious thing that's in front of you because you feel trapped. That's the symptom of a domestic violence, whether it's emotional violence or whether it's physical violence.
Or you've gotten really accustomed to this really fancy life, and that's going to go away.
Yeah. And at least part of it is, I suspect there's a lot of that $1 million a year is going to come to her.
I agree.
In California. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I think I'm with you. So what would I do? If I could get you to do what I don't think you're going to do, I agree with John, I would see an attorney about your rights. I would sit down with Mr. Moneybags and say, we're either getting married, and that's after we do some counseling to where I can trust you again because I don't trust you right now, or I'm leaving. Me and the kids are leaving, and when we leave, we're going to file for child support and palimony, and that's going to, according to my attorney, it's going to cost you X.
This one sentence, I've only recently understood the situation I am in, as I guess I was too busy caring for the kids to see what a mess.
Bullcrap.
It's not, well, that makes me think she discovered the other girlfriends, and she now realizes, I thought
now we're reading between the letters. Yeah. Okay.
He was 35, hooked up with a 19-year-old, had 2 of her kids. They're now 17, 18. They're leaving the house, and now she's finding, I wasn't the only one. I'm not the only one. And now I got a mess. Because
I make $1 million and I do whatever I want to do.
Right.
Whenever, whoever I want to do.
So stupid.
Yeah, you're...
What a coward.
Your mind is even darker than mine.
What a coward,
I didn't go
coward,
there.
coward,
That's exactly right.
man.
You're exactly right. That's what's going on.
Cowardly man.
Of only reason, yeah. So the situation is you have built a life in a house of cards. Once again, these are the things that happens when you shack up instead of being married. Had you been married, there would have been a whole different set of situations.
Legal protections.
Legal protections and other things as well. So... yeah, but now you're reaching at obscure laws, which they are. Palimony laws are much more obscure. So yeah, I would check on your legal rights. And I didn't think about these dadgum kids they're teenagers at a minimum.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
And men, take care of your families. Take care of your families.
Yeah.
Stop. Look around, dude. Look around. Another car. Another sale. Are you freaking kidding me?
At the end of your life, is this, yeah.
So stupid.
How's this going to go for you?
You're going to have an empty hospital bedroom.
Dan is in Philadelphia. Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
Well, my company that I work for, I've been with them for a little over 4 years. They let everyone go about a month and a half ago. They're getting liquidated. Another company is going to be getting all of their customers and such. It's a solar company. I worked closely with the executives, and they kept only me on. And the company that's coming in was supposed to call everyone. That hasn't happened. I've been applying and haven't been able to find a job yet. But
so are you being paid still?
I am being paid still.
Okay, but what you're saying is the fuse is burning. It's not for long.
Exactly. I make $85,000 a year.
What do you do? Debt. What's your actual job title?
Executive assistant. So it's just basically I work for the COO and the CEO, and I also try to find problems in the operations way to make things flow smoother. In the last year, I saved the company about $320,000 just in different processes that could have been fine-tuned.
How long have you been looking?
I've been looking for about 2.5 weeks now.
Okay, good. Yeah, you got to turn that on full time. That's your whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's not just filling out job applications. Okay, that doesn't work. You've got to start thinking about who you know at a company where you'd like to work, and then start figuring out what postings that job has for jobs that company has, and get your friend to get you an interview.
Okay.
That's how people really get jobs in the real world. This idea of filling out 5,000 applications by electronic, LinkedIn bullcrap, that does not work because nobody reads all those applications. Something has to happen to get those things pulled out of the stack, and that's how you really land a job. So Your job is not filling out applications. Your job is to get your foot in the door somewhere.
Okay.
That's the difference. So Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, writes about all of this stuff. His book, the one that you need to read, is called Proximity Principle. I'm going to send you a copy of it right now, today. Okay?
I actually just bought that about a month ago.
Have you read it?
I have not.
Okay. Well, this would be the day. It's upon you, my friend.
The other portion of that, I've been going through the baby steps. I'm in baby step 2. I want to. I'm assuming it's smart for me to hold back and not.
Don't do anything right now. Pile up cash. You're in the middle of a hurricane.
Okay.
You're in the middle of a hurricane. You're in a crisis. Pile up cash. Every check they give you, put it all in an account and don't touch it. I want you eating beans and rice. Are you married?
Yes, and we have 3 kids and 1 on the way.
Does your wife work outside the home?
No.
Okay. All right. So you really pile up cash, pile up cash, pile up cash. Stop your 401k. Stop everything. Treat this like you had to have $10,000 to survive, because you do.
Okay.
The bigger a pile of cash you've got, the better you're going to have confidence when you're interviewing. The more broke you are when you interview for the next thing, the more desperate you sound, and the less employable you are, because desperate people, they got a stink on them, man. And so I want you less desperate. I want you getting after it. Yeah, you need to turn this up wide open. Like your full-time job is you right now. Get it. This is The Ramsey Show. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Thank you for joining us, America. We're glad you are here. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Thanks for jumping in. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Jamal is with us in Boston to start off this particular hour. Hey, Jamal, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Ramsey?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
So I basically got out of debt 4 or 5 months ago.
Good.
And kind of been aimless with, all thanks to you, by the way. You were the kickstart, so I just want to give my gratitude to you. I really appreciate that from you, from posting your videos and stuff. So
well,
thank you. So from there now, I'm kind of at this place where I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing now. I'm at my job still, but at the same time, I want to see how else I can make other money, or how can I, take the next steps to build wealth. So I'm kind of just like confused on where I'm supposed to go next.
Okay. So you just got some basic information about getting out of debt from a few YouTube things, but you've not really heard the whole process. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the whole process we've designed is around the basic common sense principles and the ideas that financial planners have taught for years. And we just put them in an order of attack. We call that the baby steps. You probably did hear that.
I heard the baby steps, yes.
Okay. Baby step 1 is save $1,000. Do you have $1,000?
Yes.
Okay. 2 is debt-free, everything but the house. You already told me you did that one, right?
Correct.
Then your next goal is to make sure you have a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. How much do you have in savings?
$10,000.
Okay. And what do you make?
I make around $65K to $70K.
Okay. It's not a bad emergency fund. All right. If we wanted to call that our emergency fund, fine. If you want to spoof it up and put another $5K in there, you can. But that's not to be touched for anything except emergencies, and probably not even then. That's the pad between you and life. If you're going to buy something, you have to save up and pay for it in a separate account, okay?
Okay.
Now, we're debt-free. We've got $10,000. Dude, you're way ahead of most people already. Way to go. Now we go to baby step 4, which is save 15% of your income into retirement plans, Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks with a match if you've got that at work. And I want you putting 15% around. You said you make 60, is that what you said?
Yeah, around 60 to 70.
Okay, that'd be $9,000 a year then.
Okay.
Okay, or about, what, $700 a month, $750 a month, right? It should be coming out of your check some way or another going into retirement. I take it you're single and don't have kids. Did I miss something?
No, I'm 28. I live with my mom, and kind of that's was the help that kind of gave me the financial ability to get out of debt because it was $70K.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Then then I want to start putting $9,000 away for retirement. I also want to start saving some money to get out on my own.
Okay.
Because you're now able to. You make money, you don't have any payments, right? So you need to get out on your own and set yourself up a life, and go about growing your career, growing yourself, who you're going to be, what changes are we going to make. You talked about maybe changing jobs, that kind of stuff, all of that. And you're going to use some of your money to do all of that. But you don't need to jump. Just take your time, move careful. When you move out, you don't have to rush out unless your house is on fire. You don't have to run out. So unless there's something really bad going on, you don't have to run out. But you do need to make a plan by September. You need to be out of there. And you need to figure out what your next steps are in your career and just systematically lay down. Because what happens and what you're discovering already in this process is, and John, this is so important for people to grasp, I think, that where there is no vision, the people perish. And most people live hand to mouth because they don't look past Friday. And to Jamal's credit, he's looked way past Friday now. And he started to think long term. So long term with my career, long term with my living situation, long term with my debt, long term with my wealth building and investing. And when you start thinking out there 5, 10 years out with your decision making, you make much better decisions.
Yeah, and
it's called maturing.
I was going to say it's maturing, and so sometimes maturing doesn't make math sense. Here's an example. I live with my 28-year-old mom. I don't have to pay rent ever. You need to get out on your own and get your own place. Right? There's some other muscles you're going to develop, and there's some maturing that you need to do, some skills you got to develop. You got to learn how to be a neighbor. You got to learn how to pay bills. You got to learn how to deal with roommates, whatever it is. But I can see when you get done with all this, you think, well, just keep piling this money away. Well, you got to start spending some of this money now, and you got to start creating a life that you actually want to live in, right?
Exactly. And so, really, I mean, anytime you're investing money into yourself, whether that's moving out on your own, taking a class to move to a different career, all of those things are short-term pain for long-term gain.
Right.
And that one definition of maturity, emotional maturity, spiritual maturity, is the ability to delay pleasure.
What did Harlow say this morning that was so good? It was something along those lines that people are able to deal with short-term pain for long-term vision. It's just he had a great way of saying it. I don't remember what it was, James, but it's that same sentiment that, man, I have to make some choices to not be happy right this second so that I can really, really, truly have deep joy down the road.
No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but it yields a harvest of righteousness. And so nothing that we do that's good for the long, very few things that we do that's good for the long term feels great at the present. And if all you do is work on the present, you're a child, and all of your long term starts to deteriorate.
Right.
Because you spend all your money on Friday and Saturday night, and you go back Monday morning, you're broke again, and you start the cycle over again. That's thank God it's Friday, oh God it's Monday. That's the opposite of having a vision. And to Jamal's credit, he's moving away from that towards long-term thinking. And the thing is, Jamal, it needs to happen in every single compartment, department, area of your life.
Yes, and feelings are a terrible GPS system. I did not feel like exercising this morning. I didn't feel like eating a healthy breakfast this morning. I didn't feel like going around and chasing my kids down so I could hug every one of them. I just wanted to put my headphones in and go to work. You do those things because they're right, and they have a long-term benefit, right?
Well, that's discipline.
That's right.
That's where it comes from. It comes from, I'm willing to give up some pain now for gain later.
Right.
No pain, no gain. All that stuff, right? And it all falls together. But this all works in every area of our lives, and you're going to see everything start to blossom the more that you do that. Your relationships, you're just going to be much more eligible on the dating scene by good women, because good women don't want to hang with a guy who thinks, thank God it's Friday, oh God it's Monday, and lives with his mom. That's not eligibility right there. It's the opposite. And you're moving in a great direction. And you can get girls, but you can't get women. And there's a different thing. It's a whole different thing, man. So it's a long-term thinking process. And that's a beautiful thing where you are, son. I'm so happy to talk to you.
Proud of you, man.
Call us anytime. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. We're glad you are with us. The best way to make the most of your money is by creating and sticking to a plan. Your plan. You decide what you want to put in it, and then you stick to the plan that you created. Isn't that cool? So if it's punishing you, you're punishing you. If it's letting you off the hook, you're letting you off the hook. It's your plan. You give every dollar of your income an assignment before the month begins. And for those of you that are married, you agree on it with your spouse. Every dollar, the world's best budgeting app, makes it simple to plan your spending, track expenses, save for what matters, all in an easy-to-use app. Fits right into your busy lifestyle. Keep a pulse on your spending and make the progress on your money goals with Every Dollar. You can download Every Dollar for free in the App Store or Google Play today. You can also do it online at everydollar.com for your desktop. Check it out. Eric is with us in Chicago. Hi, Eric. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Long-time listener. My dad listened to it when I was a child in the car, and I just never stopped.
Wow.
So my question, I'm 27, and I'm planning on going to anesthesia school. I'm currently an ICU nurse, and I'm married. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I should use the money that I've saved up or if I should use part of it and take out some loan because of the large expense of this school, similar to medical school.
Okay, if you take out the loan, it doesn't change the expense.
Not at all. But I cannot work for 3 years or 36 straight months for this due to the 50 to 60 hours a week of clinicals and schooling, the classroom time. So
but the way you pose the question, it sounds like you've got the money to cover that.
I currently have $133,000 in cash. As far as I can tell, most schools range between $100,000 and $130,000 for the 36 months.
So what's your plan for eating?
Right. So I am married. My wife is a teacher, and then we have a baby on the way here next month. She makes about $50,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
We have no debt. I was fortunate, was able to graduate from nursing school with no debt.
When do you start anesthesiology school?
So in June, I'm on a wait list, or it would be next year around this time.
Okay. So if you had another year to save, you'd have a lot more.
That's correct, because we bought less house than we needed to. Our current take-home pay is about $103,000, and the mortgage is about $1,200 to $1,300 a month with insurance.
Okay. I would lay out a plan where we can live on her income and pay cash for this.
Okay. Currently, the way I've got it, I use $1. I use it every month, and I was using it to kind of project what it would be like, assuming her pay stays the same. It would be doable, but it would be kind of tight.
Oh, well.
Because if I used
You're
everything,
getting an anesthesiology degree where you're going to make $300,000 or $400,000 a year for the rest of your life.
Sure.
Oh, darn, you have to pay a price to do that. Oh, darn, the family's going to sacrifice for two years to do that. Whoopee.
But as far as like an emergency fund,
you don't need an
emergency. That's where mine is, Dan.
Right now, you're going to school, man. You're a freaking college student again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I'm not borrowing money to create an emergency fund.
Sure.
No, I'm not borrowing money to raise your little family's lifestyle while you bust it.
Right.
No. You knew that before you called. You've been listening to me since you were a kid.
Yes. That's what I figured the case would be. I just didn't know. Just with I've been in stork mode the last several months, and
I want you to stay in stork mode. Listen, I got to tell you, I think your career path is one of the best on the planet. It's one of the top 5 things people can do to make a pile of money, and it's very rewarding too. Because what you're doing is excellent for the human race, and because I can tell you, I have the pain tolerance of a 3-year-old child. I can't stand it. So I need people that know what you're going to do around. If I'm getting, I don't want to feel nothing. Just put me out and put me out in such a way that when I wake up, my brain still works. So this is all I want from you, man. You're awesome, and I think you're going to make a lot of money. It's better than an MD, I think. I love what you're doing, but just do it smart, Eric. Pay cash for it.
Okay.
Set your family up in such a way that we're sacrificing for our future. This is going to be a tough 3 years because you're going to be completely with your nose in the books and in the practicums and in everything else, and you're going to be absorbed in that, and you're going to have a new baby in the house in the process, and you're going to be living on a lot less than you're used to living on. It's going to be a very tough 3 years, and it's going to be completely worth it.
I mean, I can't recommend that more. And I'm sitting on the other side of this. Josephine was just born, my daughter. I went back to grad school working for, it was a madhouse. And there were days it didn't feel like it was worth it. And there was no easy path. And man, I'm glad we sacrificed and scratched and clawed, right? Because you never know what's going to be. But I do have friends who have medical school debt of some sort, and they're stuck doing managed care 14 minutes, and they tell me, I would love to get out of this madness, but I can't afford to. If you come out of anesthesiology school and you owe nobody anything,
man, you're the negotiation power you have for your next gig.
Do whatever you want.
You can write your ticket.
Do whatever you want,
but
man.
if you got stupid, Navients staring down your neck,
you take what you get.
Then you got to go, I got to take this gig because they're going to pay off Navient, right. Because that's a lot of the medical recruiters these days. They'll write you a little signing bonus or tied to your student loan debt, right? And no, you don't need any of that. All I want's money. I just want you
freedom.
To pay me money and give me control of my life. And that's stuff you'd lose in the medical field if you're not careful. So please pay cash. And I really would opt to start 1 year from June, not June.
Yeah, there'd have to be a pretty compelling reason to start right this second.
Yeah, and and set it up because that gives you a whole nother year of ICU earnings to pile. Keep your stork mode going, but it's a different birth. It's the birth of your future career, not your child. But just keep piling that money up. Practice living on her income this year, piling up yours, and then you got the money.
Right.
It's slam dunk.
Or seeing if there's a cohort that starts in January and split the difference. But I love the idea of, because obviously I get, like, you got a new baby and wanting to have some money in the bank. I get that. But
you're not having to write the whole 133 at once.
Exactly. That's it.
You're not going to be down to the last nickel until you're at the end.
That's right.
And so, by then the whole thing's going to have shifted anyway, probably.
Yep.
So
amazing. Good for you, brother.
Might even get a signing bonus signed before you do your last 6 months.
And hey, for people who call, I think this is an important thing. He has had a vision of this for several years, and he went into stork mode a long time ago. We get people who just have this thought and they want to go do it all right this second. He's been thinking about this for a while. He's got 130 grand piled up.
Yeah.
And so this is what this looks like.
Yeah, this is the right way to do it.
It's the right way to do it.
Very, very well done. He's debt free.
He doesn't owe anybody anything. I want a doctor that doesn't owe anybody anything, that can spend time with me and isn't worried about managing a clock, but worried about keeping me safe and keeping me healthy. That's what I want in my life.
I don't want to be a medical widget.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't want to be your inventory. I don't want to be something that's managed by you.
I do not want to be a medical widget.
Yeah. I had an old pastor said he said somewhere back in the 1960s or 70s, we left the healing arts and went to the medical industry.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. We left the art and went to the number crunchers.
But you don't owe anybody anything, and you have all this knowledge and the certifications. You can sit down and help people, and it's amazing.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's a golden ticket. I love your path here. It's a really, really good path. Very well done, Eric. Proud of you, man. Pay cash. You knew Dave Ramsey was going to say that before you called. It's about the only thing you can say about me that everyone has to say, whether they like me or not. I'm 100% freaking consistent.
And you're bald. I probably shouldn't have said that.
That was...
I'm just trying to think of another thing that everyone can agree on.
Firm grasp on the obvious, John Delony. 2 PhDs, and that's what they got you right there. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. We're so glad you are here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thanks for hanging out. And, hey, guess what? On the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Alan is with us. Hey, Alan, how are you, man?
Hey, great. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. Where do you live?
Oh, I live in nowhere, Wisconsin, but real close to Madison.
Okay.
Yeah,
very cool.
Drove like 600 miles down here to come be on the show, so Thanks for having me.
Well, we're honored to have you, sir. Thank you. How much debt have you paid off?
A little over 30 grand.
$30,000.
Oh, yeah.
How long did that take you?
About 4 years, give or take.
All right, good. Yeah. And your range of income during that time?
When I started, I was at 45 grand, and I'm currently around 55.
Cool. What kind of debt was the 30K?
So I had 20 grand on high interest credit card, and then I had another 10 grand on my car. So
okay, cool. Yeah. So what started this whole journey thing, this Ramsey thing 4 years ago?
Well, the journey started way before that, just getting into debt. I mean, me and my ex-girlfriend at the time, she talked me into getting a high-interest credit card. It was like, if you spent $3,000 in the first 3 months, you got all these points. So we were like, oh, we'll put all our bills on that, and then we'll go on a vacation. And then we didn't even hit the 3 grand, and we didn't even pay it off. So it was all downhill from there. And then, it just kind of snowballed. Then once, I was bottoming out and just super broke and just running out of ideas, I was YouTubing just how to get out of debt. And you were one of the first ones that popped up. So I started watching a couple of your videos that introduced me to the debt snowball. And then from there, I got hooked. I was like, that's digestible, easy enough. And then I rabbit holed down all your stuff. And then I found out about the debt avalanche. I was able to do essentially the snowball and the avalanche. I got real lucky where like my highest interest rates were on my lowest principal amounts. So I was able to just crush it. But like, it was a super humbling experience. I remember at the end, I was paying like $500-600 a month towards the credit card bills, and the principals weren't even going down. Like, it was heartbreaking. So like, I left my ex-girlfriend. She was no good at the time. I moved back in with my mom, which was horrible at your 30s. But I was like, this is enough debt where it's going to follow me around my entire life if I don't do something about it. So I got real tough and I did something about it. You were talking beans and rice. I was beans or rice. I couldn't afford beans and rice. But it was great. It was, it took forever. But like once I paid off the first little credit card, then you see the progress. You start feeling better about yourself, and it just gets better and better and a little easier. And by the end, once I'm throwing $1,000 a month at different things, it just becomes a phenomenal feeling. You feel like you're actually achieving your goals. And last year I was able to max out my Roth IRA for the first time ever, so I can start thinking about retirement, which was not even a possibility before. So, I'm just incredibly grateful, and it's all thanks to you guys. So I appreciate it.
What do you do for a living, man?
I manage a couple sushi restaurants. Okay. So if you're ever in Madison, we've won best sushi restaurant in Madison like 7 years in a row.
I was going to say, when I think sushi, I think Middle America.
Yeah, exactly, above all the lakes. Yeah. But we fly our fishing every day, man. We do it right.
I bet it's amazing.
It is. Yeah, we do real well.
I had sushi for lunch. I can put a hurting on a holler.
Oh, dude, please. It'd be my treat.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, brother.
Dude, thank you, man. It was all thanks to you guys.
I didn't do it. You did.
We didn't do anything, man.
But if I didn't find you all, I don't even want to think where I'd be right now. So thank you. It means a ton to me.
Right. How's it feel to be free?
Oh, it feels great, man. I can sleep so much better at night. I bought a new set of tires a couple months ago, and I did it without crying. I couldn't have done that a couple years ago. It was wonderful.
Tires and crying, they always go together.
Yeah, right.
What was the hardest thing? You're manager of a restaurant. People have expectations of what managers look like, what they should be driving, how they should be flashing money around. What was the hardest thing you had to experience going through this journey?
Oh, well, it was a complete lifestyle change. Because, in my 20s, we'd go out drinking and partying all the time. And, we were all broke, but we thought we were rich, And then now I heard a really good saying once where when you're young, you focus on your earn. And when you're old, you're focused on your burn. And that's completely true. Once I hit my 30s, I was I didn't make noticeably more money or anything, but I controlled where I was spending my money. I stopped going out. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking cigarettes. All these massive, inhibitors on my wealth. And then now it just, I'm reaping the rewards of that. So it's great.
And you feel better.
You feel better.
Oh, dude, I lost 50 pounds. Yeah, I look better, even without the hair. Yeah.
You lost 50 pounds too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. I changed my whole freaking life, man. It was nuts. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Proud of you. Very cool. All right, what advice do you have to somebody who's listening? We just went through a bad breakup with a bad girl, and they got some bad debt to go with it. What do you tell them the key to getting out of debt is?
Well, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm not a college-educated millionaire or anything. Anyone can do it, but it's going to be humbling. You're not going to enjoy it. It's going to be tough. But, if you make your mind up and, you decide you want to do it and commit to it, then you can succeed. It might take longer than you want, but anybody can do it. You just got to put the effort out there.
Yeah, and you're making $45,000-$50,000 a year. Yeah. You aren't making $300,000.
Exactly. I did go back to school though. Started last year, so
cool.
So I like where I'm at right now, and it's great for a single dude in his 30s. But I'm not going to be wanting to necessarily be doing it in my 50s or 60s once I get a little older. So I'm going to school to be an engineer. So
good for you.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, hopefully it all works out.
That'll be a whole shift. Way to go, man. Very
Hold
good.
on, let me get this straight. You paid off debt in 4 years, and in the process,
lost 50 pounds.
Lost 50 pounds.
I fixed my teeth too. My teeth were messed up.
He actually lost about 150 because he got rid of her too.
Yeah, yes. Right.
Your hair too, but you fixed your teeth. You're going to be an engineer. You got a significant raise against your salary, right?
Yeah.
You've changed everything, man.
Yeah. I wasn't happy with the guy in the mirror in my late 20s.
Okay, I want you to talk on that.
No, well, there was a lot of factors with that. When I was 22, I lost my father. I didn't have the tools to deal with that, so I became a pretty bad alcoholic.
Sure.
But we were all in the restaurant industry. We just go out drinking every night. That was just normal, commonplace. So, that just all snowballed with all the debt and just thinking that was an acceptable lifestyle or sustainable, and it completely wasn't.
What's it like to be well, man?
Oh, dude, like I said, you sleep better. I'm happier. Just weight off my shoulders. When I was in debt, it felt like you were drowning or suffocating constantly. There was always, something minor like, hey, can we go out to dinner for our anniversary on the weekend? I was I don't know if we can budget that $100 for that. It'd be astronomically horrible. But now it's cool. I just drove to Nashville, Tennessee on a whim to be on the show, and I'm not sweating it at all, and it's freaking wonderful. So it's so night and day, and it's just wonderful.
You changed everything, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's not rocket science. It's just living within your means and having a goal. The big thing in my 20s, I didn't have a goal or a plan. Now I do, and I follow it, and you're reaping those rewards.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not rocket science.
Way to go, hero.
Congratulations, brother.
Proud of you, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Excellent work. You're a sharp young dude now.
Oh,
well done.
Sometimes.
You turned yourself into one. Very good. Yeah. Good job, man. That's great transformation. I love it. All right, it's Alan from Madison, Wisconsin.
Home of the world's best sushi.
$30,000 paid off in 4 years, making 45 to 55. Lost 50 pounds in the process, changed his whole life. That's the key right there. So proud of you, man. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3. I'm debt free!
That's how it's done right there. Yeah, that thing where he said it's not sustainable. That lifestyle is not sustainable. It flashed through my mind. I've got a new friend, a famous guy who's been off of cocaine for 2 years. And I was just asking him the other day. I was asking him. I said, "Man, how'd you decide to? I mean, cocaine's tough. That's a tough one to break.
It's a devil, yeah.
And how do you break cocaine?" And he goes, "I just look up, man." He goes, "There are no old cocaine addicts." Ooh. Good motivator.
Yeah, it takes your soul, man. That's
good
right.
motivator.
Yeah.
It's this partying every night, this drinking, and and calling it normal. It's not sustainable. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Same situation. There are no old people that do that have high quality lives. Right. And so you just don't run into those. They're not out there.
And I love hearing when people decide to get their money right and they decide to get on a plan. They realize,
this works for everything.
My weight's like that too. My relationships are like that too. And then he's looking down at 55-year-old self thinking, I want to be an engineer. I don't want to be running around restaurant to restaurant. That's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Very cool. Very cool. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 15:22. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many wise advisors they succeed. Brian Tracy said, failure is a prerequisite for great success. If you want to succeed faster, double your rate of failure. That sounds painful. Tanner's in Lexington. Hey, Tanner, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, Mr. Ramsey.
Good. How can we help?
Yeah, so me and my wife, we're kind of at a financial crossroads, some decisions coming up. So we bought a house in 2021, low interest rate. I'm sure there's people out here in this same situation. But we bought it with an unfinished basement. And over time, I've just been paying cash and finishing out the basement, and it's almost done. Just got a couple more things to do. And we're looking at either selling the house and taking all the cash from the sale, because we should make quite a bit of money on it, and downsizing to a house that's coming up available next to my in-laws.
And paying cash for it?
And paying off our debts and putting down a huge down payment.
But not quite paying cash for the other house. Okay. What's wrong with that?
Yes. So we have a car loan. It's about $18,000 and about $50,000 in student loan debt.
Okay.
And would you rather us sell the house and pay off all of our debts and downsize to that house, or do you think we should rent this house and take our cash that we've saved up and buy that other house and use this property as a rental income to almost pay for the mortgage for the other house?
Mm-hmm. So sometimes a good way to help you with the decision making on that is to reverse engineer it. Let's pretend you were living in a house next to your in-laws and you were debt free and it was almost paid off. Because that's one option, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's pretend you're there.
Okay.
Would you go borrow more on the paid for house, almost paid for house, and go borrow $70,000 on cars and student loans to buy a rental house? No, you wouldn't.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
And effectively, that's what you're doing, only I just did it in reverse.
Okay.
By making the decision to not pay off the debt and not put down as much on the other house, it's as if you borrowed on those two things to buy the current house and make it a rental. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Which that tells me not to do it.
Gotcha. Okay. And I mean, and another question is, like, would you recommend us staying in this house and just staying here and then just paying off those debts, or?
Well, that just has to do with how miserable a human being your in-laws are.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the in-law tax?
I have a wonderful in-laws. They're great.
You know who says that? People with really scary in-laws.
She's probably going to listen to this.
I know. We're trying to get you in trouble. It sounds like the way you presented this, dude, it sounds like you want to move. And it sounds like you've put a lot of work into this thing, and it's become a project, and you're happy and you're proud of it. And
kind of hate to let that go.
You don't want to let it go. But also, man, that money would be nice. It would really set you up and transform your life in one fell swoop. And I would say, think of it this way. If somebody said, hey, if you'll work 6 months and help me refinish out my basement, I'm going to pay off every debt you own and pretty much get you real close to paying off another mortgage closer to family. I'd take that side job. You would too, right?
Good side job.
It's a great side job. So that's effectively what you've done. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and got to live there too. So yeah, it's turned out to be a really good investment for you and a good use of your sweat equity to build out that garage, that basement, and add that finished square footage to the appraisal. And so, congratulations, sir. Well played. Sell it, be debt free, and then have a plan to finish paying off the other little house as quick as you can. All right, up next is Travis in Tampa. Hi, Travis. How are you?
Dave, a pleasure. Dr. J, glad to be with you.
Thanks. How can we help, sir?
Yeah, so my kids are, my second child, last child, is getting ready to graduate very soon. And my wife and I have been following baby steps, we'll say baby steps-ish. And but we are in a good position. We've paid off a good amount of debt, recently retired from the military, transitioned, made that transition. Now we're in a financial position where we weren't previously when they were going to school, or we would have cash flowed their college. Now we're in a position to help pay off their student debt. As they're exiting college, we want to do that, but we also want to stick to the baby steps, trying to figure out where that falls appropriately in the baby steps. So we're currently in baby step 2, should be completely debt-free in about the next 60 days based off our salary. And
how much student loan debt would you be assisting with?
I would be assisting total between the two kids approximately $65,000.
Okay. And what's your household income?
Household income net is about $280,000, and that's just recent in the past 2 years since I've exited the service.
Wow. Thank you for your service. I'm glad you're doing so well. So you can do this in a year.
Yes, sir. That's our plan.
Yeah.
And
or less.
You know, we in our current budget, I did indicate a little ish. Spousal participation has been open and communication has been good. Not fully gazelle intense, but definitely moving in the direction of being debt free. Like I said, and then
I like the idea of you guys I like y'all putting your oxygen mask on first and being debt free in 60 days, and then deciding we're going to save up and bless and surprise our kids.
Okay.
That makes the most sense to me.
Headed. I wasn't sure, does it fall after we start contributing our fully emergency?
It depends on whether you want to call it. It's technically not your debt.
Right. I do
so technically this is a charitable gift.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So
and we want to honor that change in our generation. We didn't have that opportunity, which is why we even had debt with student loan debt.
That's not
we
true.
Didn't have that opportunity.
That's not true. It's part of the equation, but you do not have any moral obligation here unless you made one to your kid. Unless you promised your kid you'd help them pay it. But if you
did not.
Okay, then this is a gift.
Yes, sir.
And it's not a guilt trip, and you're not morally obligated to do this. So it's a charitable thing you're doing for your children. There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. But if you're going to do that, then you place it out there after baby step 4. 4, 5, 6 while you're working on that. You get your emergency fund in place. You're out of debt. And then we save up and just write them each a check for Christmas one year. Like John said, like John was saying. I think that's a plan. If you had said, I promise to help you pay this when you graduate, then now it's not a legal contract, but it's a moral obligation. I would put it in your debt snowball then, in that case.
No, they were fully aware. We coached on the options of going to school, what that looked like to go to school debt-free. And they did have that option because we gifted them 2 years of my military benefits for education.
Yeah, and they chose to go to schools they couldn't afford.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Please do not put your family in further financial jeopardy because you feel guilty. In fact, I would love, as a guy who's worked with college students for most of my career, I would love for you to sit down with your kids. I know the surprise would be really fun. That'd be cool. But I'd love for you to sit down and say, I want to see you follow a budget and follow a plan, follow FPU for 1 year after you get your job. I want to see where you are, and I'm going to be willing to, if you meet X criteria, I'm going to write you a check and pay off your student loans.
Yeah.
And they have some skin in the game, and I like that investment in their future adulthood, but not this guilt thing, man. Colleges take advantage of
another generation. Like we have some kind of generational reparation.
No, you got guilt. You feel guilty that your kids went to school and you couldn't afford it, and now that you make a bunch of money, you feel like you owe them. You don't.
They could have gone to somewhere and not have student loan debt. They made choices too, so they're in this too. So yeah. That's the thing. But it's good. It's very nice. You're a charitable dad. You're in great shape. You're making great money. So, yeah, put yourself in a position you can do something along those lines. That'd be my plan. Good question. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.